So I'm so happy. It's great to have you here. Welcome to Mexico. Welcome to Candelabrum Metal Fest. Is this your first time in Mexico or at Candelabrum? Yes, I guess, right?
Yeah. But we played many times in Mexico before. We played different festivals, Guadalajara Festival or Mexico Metal Fest. And we played many shows in Mexico before. So we know it's always a fantastic audience and a wild show. So we're looking forward to come back.
Yeah, and we are very excited to have you here, especially in this festival. So this is my first question. It's like more a personal question. Thrash metal started more like as a reaction, as a protest maybe. And today, in a world full of content and noise, like what should thrash metal rebel against in 2026?
I think thrash metal still delivers a message, and that's important because nowadays music is just there to entertain, and music lost its value to deliver a message, and to deliver values also, and deliver content that is giving something to the crowd and it's not just entertainment, and I think as a thrash metal band, you cannot change the world. For me, music is a therapy. It's a big relief to play music. Luckily, we have a lot of fans all over the world that see that a band from Germany has the same problems and has maybe the same views about the critical world order that we have at the moment than fans from Mexico or America or Japan or wherever, So I think for me, thrash metal should always be political. It's good that there's other bands that are singing about unicorns and about other stuff, But I read a lot, especially in the United States. I read that a lot that people are saying heavy metal shouldn't be political, and that's not true, because thrash metal is coming from punk rock roots, and always the 80s thrash metal bands always been a lot of political bands, so, and we keep on going like this. I think a lot of the younger bands took this torch and are doing that too, but of course, to keep the balance, it's maybe good that some bands are thinking about positive stuff too, because we all want to be distracted in the crazy world, because if you would all sing about death and destruction 24/7, it would not be good, I guess.
Yes. And talking about that, what do you think about actual metal bands, like modern metal bands? Not only the message, talking about the music, do you think it's an evolution?
I mean, the evolution has to be there, because people want to progress, even a band like Destruction has progressed, and even though if people are saying, oh, Destruction is still doing the same shit as 40 years ago, it's not true, but in metal, I think it's normal that humanity wants progress. They're mixing new styles and trying to, even people are sometimes demanding. When I read reviews of Destruction, it says, oh, they're still just playing thrash metal. Where's the new stuff? Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, sound like Rush or what? I mean, come on, we stick to the guns. But it's good that other bands are doing it, and for a younger generation, different. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of all this poppy metal, a lot of this poppy metal going on.
Yes.
For me, pop music melodies never were in metal, even melodic metal, all the hair metal and all the melodic metal from the 80s or Priest or Maiden or whoever. They never had pop melodies. They had melodies, but no pop melodies. So I'm not a fan of this pop. It's watering out for me, the metal content, But it's legit. I'm just not listening to it, And for me, it's great to see that a lot of young bands are also redeveloping the 80s, you know. So this kind of 80s style metal had a huge comeback in the last years, which gives me a lot of pleasure because it reminds me of my youth, of course. Of course, you can say, where is the creativity here, you know? But on the other side, you know, music always turns in circles, you know, and it's important to honor the roots of music. If it's the blues or the jazz or whatever, you know. Also, if you look at pop music, the best pop music was written when pop music was founded in the 80s, you know. Because if you listen to the pop music nowadays, it's just auto-tune and shit, exactly. So, basically, it's okay that metal has a lot of colors nowadays, you know, because it's a big scene. There's space for everybody, and if you see at the festivals, a lot of times, I'm very surprised that the festivals host so many different bands. Yes. But it still works, you know. There's a pagan metal and black metal band and a thrash metal band and a power metal band playing after each other, and it works, you know, so no worries about that.
Yeah, it's like you respect that you don't listen to. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And talking about the festival, like this festival, Candelabrum, we know that it's not a mainstream festival. It's more like for real metal fans, okay? So how does it feel to play in a place where people really understand your music?
I mean, you know, for me, I'd rather play for a dedicated, smaller audience than, you know, we played a lot of big festivals. Sometimes there's 100,000 people just watching, and there's no energy in the crowd. They're there, they applaud, they look at you, but there's no movement, there's no energy. So I like it when I can feel the crowd, when I get the energy back, you know, because this is pushing me as a musician too on stage, you know. It's the exchange of energy. So I like that. I like when you know, also the distance between the crowd and the stage is not so big, you know, because some of the big festivals, it's like 10-15 meters till the first front row starts, you know. So the smaller festivals, I always say, the best festivals are between 5,000 to 10,000 people. Like, that's the best, because that's a big amount of people, and but everything is closer and there's more energy. And when it's big, I always say it's kind of more faceless, because you don't see the people really anymore. It's just like little dots, and till the horizon you see people. It's kind of, it's very neutral, the feeling, you know. So it's great to be, of course, on a big stage and, you know, everything, but the best festivals for me are the smaller ones.
Well, Candelabrum, it's a very, very great festival. I think it's my favorite one. You know, there are bands that never been here before, cold bands, like old school most of the time. So, yeah. But this is your first time at Candelabrum, right?
Yeah, it's the first time, yeah.
You're going to love it. And the crowd is amazing. So when people talk about the Big Four, most of the people talk about American, right?
I mean, that's the American Big Four, and that's the German Big Four, basically.
Yes, but Germany, to me, has a more aggressive and raw sound. Like, do you think German thrash is still underrated?
No, German thrash is just less commercial, you know. Yeah. I think the German thrash stayed more true to the origins, to the roots, to the you know, positive aggression that thrash metal should deliver. And of course, the American bands, they developed their own style, and they got very successful, and at one point also very commercial, like Metallica and Megadeth. They made really commercial albums and very successful albums, of course. But then what happened is the metal and thrash metal mixed with the mainstream, and that's what the German bands never really had that much. I mean, at this moment now, Creator are also they're climbing up the ladder. You know, creators getting more successful with every album at the moment. They also got more commercial in the last years, but they're still, you know, far away from bands like Metallica or Megadeth, which had some really very successful ballads that were very, you know, big radio hits and stuff, you know. So I think that's the biggest difference. A lot of the American bands had a very commercial success with radio play, airplay and stuff, and our European German thrash was too rough, too heavy, too brutal to be played on radio and mainstream TV and stuff like that.
And can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you want to answer, or if you don't want to answer, it's okay. But which one is your favorite band from the big American Big Four thrash metal?
Well, that's very difficult to answer because I like all four bands, you know, and there's periods of their history which I think are been very important for metal in general. So. You know, of course, Metallica were the Godfathers, the first band that released a very important album with Kill 'Em All. So they are maybe the most important band of them all because they released the start of thrash metal, and then they made the most commercial thrash metal band in history, the most commercial album with the Black Album, right? Which changed everything completely, you know. That's why Metallica is so big nowadays. And they're maybe like most hated and most loved bands in the same time.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, of course, if you look at this Metallica, you know, in the amount of albums at the beginning of their career, been really impressive. Like like every album, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, also Justice for All was still a great album. And even the Black Album nowadays, if you look at it, it's a great album, right? It's very commercial, but it's a great album, great songs. And so if you look at the history, Metallica, you know, deserves where they are. They're the biggest band for a reason, you know. In the last years, of course, and also the last couple of albums, they got a little bit better again, but for a while I couldn't listen to them. They were horrible. Like tried to play alternative rock for a while, and it was not my kind of music. But
I agree.
But so I mean, of course, from the musical side of the style, I think Slayer is the band I like the most because they're very close to what Destruction does, you know. But also Slayer has changed over the years, you know. So
yes. Yeah, they're more aggressive, right? I think they're more aggressive. It's more like your style. I mean, I'm not saying like it's the same.
No, but it's very close. The style is close, though.
Yeah. Okay, so after so many years, many bands changed their sound to survive, which I think is the case, Metallica's case. But you stay very true to your style. How hard is to evolve with losing your identity?
I mean, we always try to, you know, keep it fresh, try to involve the band within our walls, you know. I never really scrap ideas because I think they don't sound like Destruction. When I write in Destruction mode. I already, you know, this is my identity, this is my songwriting. So when I write, usually it automatically sounds like Destruction. But sometimes it happens that I write stuff that doesn't fit to the band, and then I might skip it, you know, because I think the identity that you create for a band is so important. It's your trademarks, you know, and if you don't have a trademark, you cannot be successful. So, of course, on one side, we are defending our trademarks, our roots, our origin, and on the other side, we're also trying to push the limit, trying to push the band, you know. There's a lot of people that are saying, oh, you know, the last album sounds great because it has a lot of the original influences. but it also has a lot more heavy metal influence, and that is true because heavy metal is also a part of our youth, part of our main influence when you started Destruction, So I think the new album has definitely some newer influences that are old influences that are very traditional heavy metal influences, So for me, I think I don't feel limited. That's something people sometimes say like, oh, do you feel limited? You just can play this kind of music? No. It's like, stick to your guns. Do what you can do best. You're in football, you're a goalkeeper. You don't want to be the fucking the guy that scores the goals. You want to be the guy that keeps the goal clean, right? So, and it's the same with music. If you're a thrash metal band and you know what you can do best, you don't want to change that, And we're pushing our limit. The new album has a lot of like guitars, a lot of melodic double lead guitars without losing the brutality. And I think that's also elements that we're trying, that we're using, that we're experimenting with, but without losing the touch of the roots. And that's very important, I think.
So what would you say, talking about this, like what would you say it's your DNA, like from the band, in 3 words?
The DNA. It's definitely aggression.
Words, if you think.
Aggression.
How would you describe the DNA?
And aggression, speed, and catchiness. Those 3 words, I would say, we're speedy, we're fast, we're aggressive, but we're also catchy. I still try to write songs that stick. Even if it's a fast and aggressive song, it has to stick to your head. The riff, the hook line, something like that. So that's how I would define Destruction.
I love it. Okay, so Mexico has one of the craziest crowds in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You'll see at this festival. You'll see. I love it. Okay. And it's like 4,000, 5,000 people, the crowd.
Perfect. That's the perfect size.
You'll love it. So do you remember a moment where you thought this only happens in Mexico?
That I remember a moment where I said this only happens in Mexico.
Yeah.
You mean like
something you said like, oh, this is crazy, like something you never experienced before in another country, I don't know. Something very special. A funny moment, or I don't know.
Let me think. I mean, we had a lot of crazy shows in Mexico. And we also had some crazy moments, of course, some shady promoters, people that were making the show difficult. But overall, the fans always succeed because the fans are so great. Even if I remember once we played in, I think it was Guadalajara. I think it was Monterrey, actually. It was a festival, and there was so many problems. There was technical problems. I remember the band before us, their backline didn't work, and they couldn't play, and then they had to cut down their set. It was the guy from Epica, actually, and his other band he had. And I remember he was really mad after the show, and we were watching this, and everything was falling apart. And I remember that night also Megadeth were playing, and Dave Mustaine also cut down their set. He left the stage also because he was pissed off about some technical.
Always, right?
yeah. But it's Dave Mustaine, so whatever. Yeah. But remember, we were like, oh my God, this is going to be a horrible show. But then we came on stage, and the fans were so amazing that the fans carried us through all the problems, and that's an amazing thing, that the fans are so positive and so energetic that they can give you the energy to overcome the flaws and, forget about the problems, and you're just trying to make the show happen somehow. And at the end, it was a great night. And yeah, I remember that the guy from Epica, he destroyed his dressing room because he was so pissed off about the problems.
Oh.
They had to cut down their set. I met him. I met him last year or so in the festival, and he said, "Do you remember we played together in Mexico and I destroyed my dressing room because we had to cut down our show and because our equipment didn't work." And I said, "I will never forget because our dressing room was shaking, you know, like because he kind of crushed his dressing room." And I was like, okay, hopefully we're gonna have a better show than them. But in the end, it was a great show, and the fans really carried us through the show, and that's amazing.
That's part of being a rock star, right? You have to destroy your room, your whatever. It's like,
that's a part of the game. You know, if you once in your life you have to throw out a TV out of your window, right? Once you have to destroy a hotel room, and once you have to destroy a dressing room. Come on, that's and then you have to pay for it, and then you will never do it again.
Well, there's a story, but I don't know if it's true. People say, or social media says that I think Motley Crue, they put like sofas on the ceiling. I don't know how, but that's a story about that. When they were touring with Ozzy Osbourne, I guess. Well, I believe everything with Ozzy Osbourne, but I don't know like if that's true. But it's like, how is that possible? You know, like how do you put a sofa in your room on the ceiling? Or Pantera. I don't remember which band, but some of them.
I remember a story like this, but I think it was like a joke. They were like,
maybe, right?
They were putting it up there as a joke, I think, because they were maybe on drugs or whatever, and they were they were trying to be funny, and of course, when young wild rock and roll bands, they have a lot of funky ideas. When we were young, we also did some crazy stuff. It's a part of the game. You want to try. You're crazy. You feel very positive, and you want to do crazy stuff. But as I said, once you have to pay for it, and it's costing you a lot of money, then you rethink the next time if you would do it again.
Stop doing that. Did you do something like that?
Yeah, I remember the first time we toured with Slayer in '85, Hello Waits tour. Slayer invited us to their hotel room for a party, and we completely destroyed the hotel room. It was very bad. We were very drunk, but Slayer were getting us really drunk because we were younger than them. They were at this time. I was 20. I was a young kid, and Slayer were already a little bit older than us. They could drink more, and we were really drunk, and we destroyed the hotel room by accident. It wasn't on purpose. It was by accident. But the next day the tour manager came and said, okay, here there's $10,000 for the destroyed hotel room, who's going to pay for it? And we were like, oh, so we played the tour for free to pay down the hotel room. We were a young band, and we were kind of okay, we're fucked. So now every t-shirt we sold, we had to pay back the hotel, So
you stopped doing that, right?
I mean, yeah, almost. We had some little other incidents, but at one time we were like, okay, fuck it. Now it's we don't do it anymore,
No, I guess. Okay, for someone who will see you for the first time at Candelabrum, what should they expect? Like old school thrash?
Yeah, we're gonna have a special old school set list on this show. We're celebrating the anniversary of Infernal Overkill and the old 80s albums. So it's going to be a very 80s set list with a lot of classical 80s songs and 80s riffs, 80s vibes. So I'm sure people are going to love it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. So anything else you want to say to the Mexican crowd?
We're looking forward to come to Mexico soon again. It's been a while, and we're very excited.
Well, thank you very much. It was an honor for me, and obviously for my followers, the Mexican crowd. So I hope to see you there, and thank you very much for this interview.
Okay, my pleasure, and Looking forward to see you in Mexico very soon in September.
I'm always there. This is my favorite festival, Otto.